Brooklyn ain't just bricks, blood, and bullets no more. Nah, now it's sweet. We talkin' Brooklyn Bloodlines candy, the only candy tough enough to sit at the table. Mikey the Hammer Fudge Bar. One bite, you're down for the count. Hazelnut, dark chocolate, espresso crunch. Forget about it. Red Velvet Vendetta Taffy. Soft, chewy, with a hit that comes out of nowhere. Like a friendly tap that turns into a left hook. Concrete jungle lollipops. Hard as the streets, sweet as the score. They last longer than a sit-down with Goku D'Angelo. Cannoli Crunch bites, bite-sized, but pack more power than a capo in a Cadillac. Ricotta Cream Center. Forget about it. Brooklyn Bloodlines candy. One taste, you're made. Don't be a gavone eating them store-bought Mook's candy. Get yourself a piece of the empire. Brooklyn Bloodlines candy. Ask your bookie today.
Muggs, what the fuck you doing in there, you prick?
Analyzing evil, Corrado Junior Soprano, the psychology of pride, paranoia, and the slow death of power. A Bambi's Twisted Tales and Pizzaverse Studios production. The Old King in the Fall. Every Empire kid ends the same, not with a bang, but with a mutterin' old man yelling at ghosts. Corrado Junior Soprano ain't just Tony's uncle, he's the ghost of a bygone era. A relic of the old ways, still fighting for respect in a world that stopped speaking his language. He's the face of fading authority, the king who's still wearing the crown, but don't realize the kingdom's already moved on. And that, right there, is the tragedy. Junior ain't evil 'cause he's cruel. He's evil 'cause he can't let go. This is the story of a man who let pride rot his mind, who mistook fear for respect, and who died a prisoner in his own paranoia. The Old Guard. Back in the day, Junior was a made guy when respect actually meant something. Rules were clear, lines were drawn. You knew who you could talk to and who'd put you in a trunk if you did. Junior was cut from that cloth. Discipline, tradition, ego. Problem is, the world kept moving. And when the world changes, pride turns into poison. He saw Tony rise, young, ruthless, loved. Junior had the title, but Tony had the power. And that's the seed of every great downfall. Envy disguised as leadership. In his head, he's still the boss. But to everyone else, he's just Tony's bitter uncle playing make-believe with soldiers who stopped listening. The need to be feared. Junior don't want love, he wants fear. He equates respect with submission, a lesson drilled into him by decades of street hierarchy. But here's the psychology, sweetheart. When a man defines himself only by control, he becomes a slave to it. Every look, every laugh, every whisper becomes an insult. He equates respect with submission, a lesson drilled into him by decades of street hierarchy. But here's the psychology, sweetheart. When a man defines himself only by control, he becomes a slave to it. Every look, every laugh, every whisper becomes an insult. Junior's entire identity hinges on being the boss. So when people stop trembling, he starts unraveling. You can see it, the paranoia creeping in like mold in an old cellar. He starts seeing betrayal in every shadow. And when you start fighting ghosts, you stop leading people. The fall into fear. See, power's a funny thing. It don't leave quietly. It slips away while you're still talking, still demanding tribute from people who ain't even listening. Junior's spiral is Shakespearean. The dementia, it ain't just medical, it's symbolic. It's the mind rotting under the weight of pride. He forgets who's alive, who's dead, who wronged him, who didn't, because in his world everyone eventually wrongs him. He's a man trapped in a loop of his own grudges. That's the psychological prison of power. He wanted to be remembered as a boss. But the mind don't take orders, and when it turns on you, it's the ultimate mutiny. The Godfather complex. Junior's got what I call the Godfather delusion. He sees himself as a tragic hero, misunderstood, underappreciated, betrayed by his own blood. He ain't wrong, but he ain't right neither. He loved Tony like a son, and hated him for being better. He taught him the life, and then resented him for living it better. That's the duality that eats him alive, pride and regret sleeping in the same bed. It's the curse of every aging king. You build an empire so your name will last forever, but the next generation uses your empire to bury you. Paranoia as survival. Now paranoia's funny. In the mob, it keeps you alive. But Junior turned it into a religion. He stopped trusting everyone, even himself. That's called cognitive decay wrapped in delusion. He ain't protecting the family anymore. He's protecting his ego. He don't care about the business, the guys, or the future. He just can't stand the idea that Tony don't need him. And that's what really breaks him. Not betrayal, not the hits, not the indictments. It's irrelevance. To a man like Junior, being forgotten's worse than being killed. The death of authority. By the time the dementia kicks in, he ain't even a boss anymore. He's a memory. A man yelling orders into a void that don't echo back. He becomes the living embodiment of decay, the old ways dying in real time. Every confused rant, every outburst, every blank stare. It's not just sickness, it's metaphor. He's what happens when tradition outlives its purpose. Power without purpose? That's insanity wearing a suit. The last laugh. Junior's final moments ain't violent. They're tragic. He sits there, frail and forgotten, humming old songs about the streets he used to own. No soldiers, no money, no fear. Just an old man who don't remember the world he helped destroy. He was the boss once. Now he's a ghost in a chair, laughing at shadows that ain't even looking back. That's what makes him evil in a poetic way. Not 'cause he was cruel, but 'cause he wasted his humanity trying to be feared instead of loved. A man who spent his life controlling others and ended up losing control of himself. The price of pride. Junior Soprano is every powerful man's nightmare. To outlive your relevance and watch the world move on without you. He's the consequence of a lifetime of pride with no humility. He's the echo of the old mob dream, the American hustle that forgot its heart. His tragedy ain't in his crimes. It's in his refusal to change. 'Cause in the end, the men who survive ain't the ones who control. They're the ones who adapt. Junior couldn't. And so the world adapted without him. This has been a Bambi's Twisted Tales and Pizzaverse Studios production, where we don't glamorize gangsters, we diagnose them. Where we don't salute kings, we study their ghosts. So hit subscribe, stay wise, and remember, power fades, but legacy? Legacy's built on what you leave behind, not what you take with ya. Junior Soprano never got that memo. And that's why the crown on his head was heavier than the bullets that missed him. Thanks for watching.